if you had to have a black superhero do your job from 9 to 5, but the catch is that you have to be their sidekick, who would you choose? So like 9 to 5, they're doing your job, but then from 5 till midnight or whatever, or 6 to midnight, 6 to 2, we'll say, you have to be their sidekick.
Nighthawk.
Choosing. I said black superhero.
Nighthawk.
Wait, who's that?
There's a Nighthawk in the Marvel Universe.
Oh, you said Nighthawk. I heard
Nightwing. I know. No, he's like the Chicago version of Batman.
Okay.
Rich, but black.
Okay.
And being his sidekick feels like I'll probably be the guy in the chair, less than the guy on the streets.
Okay,
so I'm I'm fine with that.
This is DC?
No, Marvel. Nighthawk.
Oh.
He, he's a total ripoff of Batman.
Okay.
With the exception of like police brutality and like that conflation. But
okay.
Yeah.
I know I talk about Mr. Terrific a lot, but
almost too much.
When you think about it, though, right? One, he's going to set up programs at my job to do my job for me, even when he's not there.
Right? He wouldn't do. He wouldn't actually do your job.
No,
he would
done.
just program
it's
to.
It's the T-sphere, right? Like, done. And I feel like I wouldn't even really be his sidekick because he has so many projects running. He'd just be like, "Yo, go collect this data," and I'm like, "All right," and I can do that. Like, that's fine.
That's
what I'm saying.
That you're doing for
right. You're like just doing your 9 to 5 in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
that's
so
all
you
it is.
Just run a night shift.
That's all it is. It's a lot of just like going back and forth. Press that button. But even then, he doesn't really need you to do that.
That's true.
He could also get T-Spheres to do that as well. But he's kind of like, what is it that I can do that makes you feel like you feel valuable? I don't ever want to get to that level of success and autonomy where I'm just kind of like, I got to find a job for you to do so you feel special.
Barflies. They call me the pride and joy of New Barktown, Ace Trainer Argent, and we are welcoming you to BNR.
BNR.
Now, I am not by myself. I am joined with two of my closest friends in the cosmos, and they will be introducing themselves shortly, starting with the man with the plan. They call him Dan. The day is as long, and he can't go wrong. Baby, talk to the people.
You already know who it is.
Already know.
It's Big Dan.
Big Dan.
Rodan.
Rodan.
Coming at you live from the 215, your comic book connoisseur, your sommelier of sci-fi and superheroes. Here to welcome you to another episode of the BNR, My Barflies. How you doing? That's right. I appreciate that background singing. You never know what you're going to get here. However,
Mama said BNR is like a box of chocolate.
Hopefully not, but we are 3 lovely pieces of chocolate here.
Boxes of chocolate.
Can we start over?
Nope. Going over to the other piece of chocolate, I guess, on this table here.
I call milk?
Sure. You can do whatever you want.
Like milk chocolate.
Maybe.
Hey, 'tis I, hailing from the land of sake, shinobi, and samurai.
Chocolate.
The boy is Godzilla's persona fied.
Can we start over?
Ain't no other name but this to go by. It's your boy, Jayhawk.
I like that classic intro.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I guess we're back at it.
AKA Hawkins Hanzo. Let's go. Okay.
You just got a lot of freedom just popping up in people's cameras, but that's fine.
BNR stands for booze,
Booze.
news,
News.
and reviews. We're going to have some booze. We're going to go through the news of our respective parts of the multiverse, and then we're going to review the series known only as
PeaceMaker? Sorry. PeaceMaker.
You haven't even started yet.
Speaking of Drunken Master, take it away.
Hey.
And welcome
Welcome
to Shot Seat.
The shot
Shot,
seat.
shot, 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 shot.
So for those of you who are not aware, the Shot Seat is when one member of the Blur Bar asks another member of the Blur Bar questions about respective things. Now, if you get the question right, you may take a shot if you want. But if you get it wrong,
You gotta take that shot.
gotta take the.
I am not throwing away my shot.
So, I'm ready.
All right. This one is pretty easy. Coming at you with a softball question. What food was the character Pac-Man modeled after?
Oh, what is a wedge of cheese?
I'm so sorry. Take a shot.
Well, if you guys know the answer, please let us know in the comments. And now back to our.
Regularly scheduled episode.
That's right.
All right, I'm gonna hand it off to you guys after boop, and then there'll be a picture.
Thanks.
But yeah, so for tonight we have in this episode we will be partaking in 10 to 1 Dark Rum. Here is a bit of info about the founder and the company, and you guys will be able to taste freely. So, hailing from Trinidad, founder Mark Farrell shares his story. As someone born and raised in the Caribbean, I've been a student of rum and its place with a myriad of settings my entire life. With this has come a deep sense of appreciation for both the heritage of rum as well as the broader role it plays in the contemporary Caribbean culture. In the U.S., I believe that there is an enormous opportunity to further elevate the conversation around rum, not only by introducing a high-quality spirit to market, but by broadening and challenging the current perception around the occasion for which it might be considered the spirit of choice for today's consumer. So, we're here to bring you something different, and we invite you to join us on this journey. On the 10 to 1 website, their story reads as follows. A departure from pirates and plantations. For too long, rum has struggled this move beyond its complicated history, instead often settling for a narrative that feels uncomfortably restricted to old caricatures and narrow tropes around Caribbean culture. At 10 to 1, we've endeavored to build a brand that is elevated but not exclusive, grounded in authentic elements of Caribbean culture and heritage with a narrative that is both compelling and contemporary. Our sense of shared identity is not born out of what we wear or even what we spend our time and money, but a common ideal in the pursuit of our passions and a commitment to reimagine the world around us. This is Rum Reimagined. Now, finally, the rum. This dark rum is a masterful blend of 8-year-old Barbados and Dominican column still rums, combined with high ester Jamaican pot still rum and Trinidadian column still rum, aged in American white oak ex-bourbon casks. This expression features notes of baking spice, banana peel, yellow apple, tobacco, cedar, nutloaf, and leather. This is 100% rum with no added sugar, coloring, or flavoring. Described as having a moderate acidity with a very dry and clean finish, this rum has the versatility to be enjoyed neat, on the rocks, with a splash of soda or coconut water, or in a number of cocktail expressions. This is 10 to 1 dark rum.
Thank you.
That was professional as cuss, and I appreciate that. So I've already tasted the notes, at least from the aromatics. You get the leather almost immediately. It's almost identifiable, but in a way that's not off-putting, not like burnt leather, right? So it's not like, the banana peel is the second note that I caught, and I was like, all right, not sure how I felt, but it's rum, and it's rum in the almost like the original sense of it. Like I almost like if all the scenes of Jack Sparrow like opening up a bottle and a cask and just like, I assume that's what this is. That's what you get hit with the moment. Like Jack Sparrow's in the room and you're like, something smells like rum. And you're like, it's Jack Sparrow.
It's because he sweats it.
Yeah.
I really liked the smell of this. It smelled way sweeter than it actually was. The smell was really, really not potent, but it was like very full. And then when I sipped it, it's way lighter than I thought, but really like not smoky in the same way of tequila, but you can taste like the oak barrel, you know.
Oh, immediately.
But this is great. It's just there's like a liquidity that the body is like. The liquid itself is like thin, I guess, if that makes sense. Like
it does. It's almost dry. It's almost dry.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta give this.
It does have a very dry and clean finish.
That is true.
Allegedly.
Yes.
Allegedly. It's not dry in the sense that like it feels dry though.
No, as much as it feels like
it doesn't drink dry. It would be the way that I would say it.
I like that. Yeah, yo.
We getting there.
Being a professional out here, man. I give this 3 out of 5 though, and it makes me wonder if my ancestors were from an island. I'd be really proud.
I was actually going to give this a little bit higher, only because you can almost taste. I would hate to sound poetic, right? But at the same time, like it tastes historic. Like this tastes like it's been stored longer than it probably has been.
Authentic.
And I think the combination of rums being put together this way makes for possibly a more original idea or concept of rum than what we've come to know in the modern consumerism of rum, right? Like we drink it in a sense that like you're not tasting the art and like the intent behind the making of it. So I might give this a 3.7. So maybe I'm gonna say 4. It's 4. It's a 4. If you round it up, it's a 4. So
interesting. So tasting it and listening and doing all the research on it, it definitely is a whiskey drinker's rum, and I think you can definitely, or like because it is stored in ex bourbon cask or ex bourbon barrels. So I think that definitely comes through. It reminds me, there are hints that remind me of Bro Brothers, like the bourbon whiskey kind of a thing. As a rum, what's interesting is, because I remember the founder, Mark Farrell, saying people think of rum as like being like this very like super sweet or like over, like I think he used the word like cloying, like the taste profile maybe is like cloying, and there's very like, I guess like makes you want to like smack your like lips and stuff like that. I wasn't gonna do it on the
thank you, appreciate you. I got the
but
headphones.
You know
on,
what I mean. And this definitely does not do that.
Yeah,
it
clean.
Is. Yeah, it very does clean. Not give you that like sweetness. Like so, like if you're going for like rum as you know it, getting that sweet feel or that sweet taste that you want, this isn't for you.
This is full body all on its own. It's grown.
Yeah, this is definitely something that like I would actually probably like throw an ice cube in this. Like luckily this was already chilled. But like yeah, throwing an ice cube in this, maybe doing like that splash of club soda to give it a bit of like pop or something.
I got some peach lemonade.
But
they said coconut water. I was like, I'd try that.
I would try that.
I never thought of it.
So that was very interesting. It definitely isn't. I say all that to say it definitely isn't it wouldn't be my first go-to as like a rum as I know it, because to be fair, that sweet stuff is kind of like what I've kind of been conditioned.
It's what you come to know.
Think. Yeah. So it's like, oh, this is definitely something to like, I think, grow into. If you wanted to do that, that's
what I keep saying is like it feels mature on and of it in and of its own. Like it's not something. It's not a Bacardi. It's not a Malibu.
Right.
Like you're not
definitely not Malibu or Paraguay.
Right.
If you go in with Malibu or Paraguay mindset, you're not it's
Don't-
not for
Right.
you.
Don't do it. Just don't.
Because even like we drink crack in here a lot,
Sure.
but this seems even more mature than that.
Sure.
And I think if you have that mindset or anticipation of a kind of rum that you'd walk in on,
Yeah.
like, I know what this is immediately. You don't.
Yeah.
You don't know that.
Yeah.
You think you know.
Right.
I would even take just maybe a zest of orange in
Okay.
this,
I guess
because it almost feels like a rum old fashioned. Like you could almost have like a rum old fashioned, and that I take it or leave it. But like the leather,
Mhm.
you would kind of want that to shine through,
Sure.
rather than suppress it. But what's your number? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I think once again, this would be a great, to your point, a great foundation, like a great building block
Mm-hmm.
for like other mixed drinks. I would give this a 3.5.
Okay.
That's a personal, subjective viewpoint. I don't think this is a bad rum. Like I said, I think this is something that like you could grow into if
this
on
is-
your journey of rums. If rums is
is,
like your go-to thing, like I like rums. This is like one of those like not the final boss, but like you're getting up there in ranks. Like
It's no save point after this.
yeah.
Like, it's-
So
Yeah, I would say at least try it if you find yourself to be a like rum drinker, like just from beginning to end, from the plastic bottle to like
oh geez.
to OGs. I'd argue that this is closer to the top than the bottom
Oh,
of
yeah.
like
Definitely.
premium.
of the barrel.
You gotta go, yo.
And I think even if you are a whiskey drinker, I think to try this.
I would
would
say
be, like-
definitely try this if you're a whiskey drinker.
Yeah.
Because you would probably prefer that more than like the other rums.
Oh yeah. Compared to the other rums, I think you would definitely gravitate towards this. So
Yeah,
So that,
Joaquin.
that was a brandy.
That was a brandy, but I feel
So
like they
slow
also make
down.
run.
Of course.
I wouldn't want that either, though.
We have some news. We covered the booze. And welcome back.
welcome
to
back.
Shots.
Shot.
Get it out. Get it. Whoa.
Question number 2.
Mario first appeared in what video game?
Which would be
Come on, Cletus.
it is Jumpman, right?
Is that your
That's not correct.
final
Is it Donkey Kong?
answer?
It is Donkey Kong.
Jumpman. That one up to something.
I mean,
And now
And I said
back to our regularly scheduled program.
after that shot. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Now it's on to the news. I can go first because mine is like super quick.
sure, go ahead.
To all of the Paramount Plus users, which I guess are Star Trek fans that forgot to turn that off,
Woo!
Halo the series is renewed for a second
The
season.
disrespect.
Everybody got a streaming service, man.
You're right, but
You're
the
not
disrespect.
Plus, we know why people got Paramount Plus, man.
We do. It wasn't for the Nickelodeon, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, man. So Halo, the series that follows the games, season 2. It'll be cool. Check it out. That's all of my news.
That's all your news?
That's all I got.
I got a few pieces of news.
I'm interested in your news.
So anyone that's reading currently knows that Thor has been having issues with Mjolnir and lifting it, and also wearing the crown that wears
can't
heavy on his
get
head.
it
Of
up.
being... So, what has currently been going on in the current issues of Thor is more of a discovery of self, with engaging his father and his familial trauma, and like working things out with his mom, because Freya and Odin are no longer together, but he's just kind of like taking this all in, and they're also like mythological gods who have been alive for a long time, so like divorce and all those things aren't really real, but they're kind of just like, we don't talk anymore.
I don't bang some ball. No.
Right, but it's only been a few months for them, right? In the drop of a hat or a drop in a bucket, whatever. Anyway, Odin recently sacrificed himself. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Oh no!
And
Anthony Hopkins.
Thor absorbed the Odin force to become All-Father Thor.
Don't want to become your dad, kids.
Yeah,
Well,
but since he can't lift the hammer, he now wields a sword.
How so? Is it a sword made?
It's like a sword made of Odin energy and all that stuff. But
Is Odin energy close to any type of radiation that we know of on Earth?
I would assume it's closer to cosmic energy than anything, given the fact that like Odin was the only one capable of, having relations with the Phoenix and then giving birth to Thor. But
Also, okay.
we didn't even have that conversation before. I'm sorry. I feel like I've said that before, but that's the thing.
Let's move on.
Other piece of news. As of right now, a report came out that Microsoft had actually started the Activision acquisition 3 days before the harassment harassment suits and reports had dropped. So it's not that Activision was being bought out, in a kind of like jumping ship type deal, or at least that's what the report is saying. So that way people feel better about like the acquisition. And they weren't doing this they were just trying to do this to kind of clean house. Who's to say? Activision's been in the news for quite some time, and hopefully it's for the better. I'm very interested to see how the year 2022 is going to play out with Sony being real petty with Bungie. Like, sure, but like Halo was really only making that game one more time anyway, so.
Oh, they got Destiny too, right?
Right. Nobody's really worried about this. Like Bungie, I said what I said, but so there's this weird bidding war happening. But I think honestly, it has to do with us transitioning into Web3, and that's me being a nerd. Microsoft is really just trying to make sure all that stuff is under that umbrella, because once they break into the metaverse, virtual reality, like Microsoft has already been laying the groundwork for of kind of controlling dominance in that. Regardless of how you may feel about Facebook or whatever like that, they may have used the name Meta and just kind of like wanted to be like, first, dibs,
got it,
my spit, kind of type thing. And Microsoft's like, sure, go ahead, but we the one driving the car. Like, Facebook's like shotgun, but don't really matter. So, it's interesting to see, and I'm honestly excited to be a part of like that part of life that we're now transitioning into VR and all that. At the same time, I'm scared because I'm like, eventually AI will be able to do my job. I don't know. I don't think AI will be able to do my job because AI will not be able to not be frustrated. I feel like
yeah, you get frustrated, but you don't blue screen. So.
But I feel like AI would like that's. Working in a call center environment or doing tech support is how Skynet happens. That's how I feel. So
I think
they're like, these people are dumb.
I think that's definitely one path. I think another path.
Annihilate all humans.
Another path.
What you mean you ain't turn on the computer?
They like the humans keep calling in and just get aggravated because I feel like the response of the AI would always be like, well, did you turn it off and on?
Yeah, it's gonna be a trait.
I would like to.
Yeah, there's a trait.
It's good.
So, like,
gonna be an LOQ
saying,
of like line of questioning and like
if they keep saying like, so I did that.
Speak to a representative.
Yeah.
Speak to a representative.
Exactly.
And the AI is kind of like, I am the representative.
Right. Nah. At a certain point, I guess like you would have to be the representative that the AI refers them to.
I don't want to work that job.
But like, I feel like at a certain point, that's just going to be
the default.
What you're doing now.
It's kind of what they're doing now
with extra steps.
Yeah. Because they have all the tasks and rules and things like that to solve their own problems. But it's now like, speak to a representative.
Keep hitting 0.
Yeah. We've all been there.
We all know what it is.
But
that was my last piece of news.
Skynet.
That's how they take us out.
From the help desk.
From the help desk. It's where it all starts from.
Oh,
I'm not saying if I was a robot, I'd do it, but I'm.
What you got, Josh?
All right. So, for news, I want to actually bring some light to a Black creator by the name of Tony Weaver Jr. There's an interview with him on Crunchyroll's website, and it sets the stage as follows. Most people wouldn't be able to take $500 and build an organization from the ground up. Tony Weaver Jr. isn't like most people. From $500 he won by taking home first prize in a pitching contest in college, and I don't believe that's like baseball pitching.
No, it's pitching pitching an idea. We got it.
Okay.
I
Speak to a representative.
You never know. Tony was able to found Weird Enough Productions, a social impact organization that seeks to empower young people through the power of stories. Tony is also the creator of The Uncommons, a superhero series featuring a cast of diverse young heroes. On the website, you can find the following statement. By combining The Uncommons with groundbreaking curricula, our education platform, Get Media Lit, which stands for Learn, Inquire, Transform, helps young people around the world improve their social emotional wellness, digital citizenship, and literacy skills.
At the same time.
So yeah, I thought that was like really cool. The interview was it's nice. If you have like, I would say 5 to 10 minutes of like reading that you can do on your lunch break or something like that, I say definitely check it out. It was
Link
really
will
cool.
definitely be in our description.
Yes.
Yeah, so definitely check him out. I think he's doing cool things. It's not just the fact that he's not just making a comic book for comic book reasons, and he's like connecting it with like the curriculum, and he's actually trying to like change it up a little bit, like make English class fun for those who might not find it fun.
Edutainment.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. So wanted to just shine light on him. So
Sterling,
Fungication.
you got to stop.
there it is. I like edutainment more.
Edutainment made more sense. Fungication sounds
Just
slightly dark. I need you to leave.
And welcome to the final shot.
It's the final shot scene.
We have Ace Trainer Argent 0 for 2. If you think he is going to shame the village, pause the video, post below believer or non-believer. You think he can pull through? He can
Stone this man.
at least get one. Hit me, I'm ready.
Bring out your dead.
But I'm not dead.
What is it? Boo the non-believer.
Shun the non-believer.
Shun. There it is.
Shun the non-believer.
Shun the non-believer.
All right.
Shun.
Who released the first flight simulator game?
Ooh.
What is Boeing?
I'm so sorry. No.
Wasn't it? Well, if you know the
If you
answer,
know the
please let us know in the comments. And now, back to our regularly scheduled program. You guys ready for some Peacemaker?
Yeah.
Now, the question is, do you really wanna taste it? James Gunn back at it again with the white vans. John Cena.
I am surprisingly excited at how great that show turned out to be.
Dude, I went in just being like, whatever. But this was a ride, man.
I was already on board with it being James Gunn. I think for me, having watched enough of his films, knew kind of what I was expecting. At the same time, I was never really a big fan of John Cena's acting. And then Peacemaker makes the most sense as a character he would play.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like in this, I would almost argue, and if I could ask for anything in media right now, I would ask for a Deadpool and Peacemaker movie.
That'd be preposterous.
It would be insanely ridiculous, but
I
it would
think
be,
that would be the
so
best.
entertaining.
How close is Vigilante to Deadpool? I guess we don't have to get into this now.
Yeah.
But like,
He's not that close.
I think that would be the best thing for those two characters.
Yeah.
Only because I felt like I didn't.
Well, let's give our scores first.
Okay.
Before we go into
You
it.
go first, because I don't know. About
I'm gonna give this a 3.5. It's not great TV, but it's entertaining, and it's like nonstop entertaining.
4 out of 5. Easy, dude. Easy.
Josh is about to give this a
2.5.
1. Okay.
I'm interested in why you say that.
I can see why he would say it, but go ahead.
Yeah, like subjectively 2.5 because I did so the character of Peacemaker I didn't necessarily care for like in the Suicide Squad.
Right.
I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. Then seeing that he was getting his own show, I'm like, I mean, okay. It just he wasn't a character that I cared for
Sure.
that I would care to like learn more about.
Ratcatcher.
Sure. But knowing that we were going to review this, I watched it, and I will say that I was very much surprised at how entertaining the first few episodes were. Like I would say like up to episode 3, maybe even 4, it was like just very like entertaining and like kind of funny, and sure, I was here for it. And then after a while, the tangent bits, the stupid, like this character, like so many characters just seemed, not so many, but like key characters seemed so stupid that it was just like, it doesn't make sense how you're actually doing what you're doing. Like Vigilante or like even John Cena at certain points. The tech guy, he was the most borderline, like, okay, he's silly, but he also like
That's
knows,
his job.
Yeah, like he knows what he's talking about.
Get Economos.
But yeah, so I mean so like that kind of a thing. It was the back and forth silly banter for me that was just like kind of taking me out of it. Kind of like, this is not what I want. So
to counter that point, I think that's what was needed. One, James Gunn knows what he knows what he's doing in the line of like dark comedy, right? Like black, they would call it black comedy, but
all of the comedy was very like, though it like pushed the edge, it was like good, like
it was sensible.
It was sensible. It was not like, it's hard to differentiate the line or like walk that line of like, was it cheesy or corny? Yeah, but like giving the context of like, I mean, if you really want to go dark into like the White Dragon, right? Like if you don't want to go over that deep end, then like what they were doing made sense.
Right. The show was doing a lot of towing the line, as far as what one would say and what one should say, and because the main character himself was trying to navigate like the way the world works, that's why it didn't seem like offensive.
Yeah.
Because he was learning, but at the same time, you're like, someone who knows better as a viewer is probably just like, Peacemaker said it, so and you're like, don't do that.
In fact, if you say Peacemaker said it, just don't say it.
Right.
Just don't.
But I think like James Gunn's brand of comedy and like art style and direction was very intended for this kind of character.
Yeah, I mean, even when to piggyback off your point of like towing a line, when you think back to Scooby-Doo, like I was watching that as a kid, and I was just like, I don't know, some of this stuff
It wasn't for us.
Like,
It wasn't for us.
Like when whatchamacallit, he gets in Daphne's body and he's like, hey, I can look at myself naked. I was like, that's not how that would go.
When did that happen?
That was in
Scooby-Doo?
the
That
Scooby-Doo
a
live
movie?
action movie. Yeah.
The live action movie with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar.
The live action movie. I haven't watched that, but I can imagine that there were adult.
There was a lot of adult things,
Yeah.
but I mean,
adult jokes in that one. Yeah.
to
I
still
thought you were
maintain the
talking
name
about
Scooby-Doo is an adult joke in and of itself.
But even going all the way back then, like that was a pretty dark storyline for it to
Yeah.
be like Scooby Doo, you know. So I think towing that line is really good. We know James Gunn has experience with taking characters that like don't have the most source material or like aren't as known, and then making people love them because they don't really have that much to weigh against.
Right.
Right. So like we got Superman stories, we got Wonder Woman stories, we got Batman stories like forever, right? And a bunch to weigh it against. But with PeaceMaker, how much material is even really there, right?
I think the only thing I would have asked and probably would have given a higher number is if it was more focused on Task Force X overall. Like a Suicide Squad show would have probably made gotten a bigger response. However, they already did the movies, so you can't give people like TV show money for, So I think that was the only dilemma. But I think if ever a role was made for a specific actor, John Cena and PeaceMaker are like synonymous now. The same way that I feel like Deadpool did was like I can't listen to Ryan Reynolds talk without like hearing a little bit of Deadpool just in real life, like
But not Pikachu though.
like I said. So, I think the show has potential to obviously go maybe one or two more seasons after that.
I think one is fine.
Well, it's already gotten renewed for a second season, so yes, a second season. I think it was an entertaining show enough that you can do that.
Yes.
At the same time, I'm not asking for this all the time. Like I'm not. No one's asking for it, but you can.
He's just letting us know.
Right. If it's out there, it's out there. And I'm gonna watch it because it's entertaining. But it's not top tier TV,
By any means.
by any means. It's very lowbrow comedy. At the same time, it's also like kind of giving you a good story. The action was a little bit lacking in some episodes, but I think they also wanted you to care about the character.
Yeah.
And then I don't think the villain was believable enough for me overall. Because
Like-
they weren't really villains.
Antagonistic force.
Right. But they were also like more parasitic.
But I think they
Because he just like expanded and kept replicating and like taking over humans' bodies. And it was like really body snatchers type stuff. But then, go ahead.
I think the question is because we never really got a definitive answer as to what their actual goal was. Because like even when Goth talks to PeaceMaker, like, hey, like we're not trying to. It still felt like I feel like you're lying.
Yeah, straight up.
Like
100%.
so it's like
100%. that really what the true antagonistic force of PeaceMaker was like understanding that a belief that you've held for your entire life that you've made quintessential to your existence and who you are can still just be like super problematic and also wrong.
Right.
And then like you having to face that down, which, I think it's kind of perfect that he's like, this white cis het dude that's like, has a father that's a fucking white supremacist, and like the journey that I will never know or understand of being a white guy being told that like, hey, you're just kind of better than everybody else just cause. So like having to come to face that,
Yeah, and I think to those points, that's probably why it was a little bit more palatable to watch because it was like he was being torn down from that pedestal, and they were also giving you like what the antithesis would be is if he was kind of riding high on that like patriotism type vibe, and like you're either PeaceMaker or you're the White Dragon.
There is no in between.
There's no in between.
that's it. Like
Like
well.
it's either that or you're the dead brother. Like you.
Oh
wow.
So, but it's the truth. I just be like, the show did enough.
Wow.
Are you just going to get that sound effect?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Okay, go ahead.
Right. It might be licensed. I'm pretty sure it is. Anyway, I think for all that the show was, I think DC has an opportunity here to go with the ridiculous fringe characters. If you can get in touch with James Gunn, great. If you can't, find somebody who's kind of like him and do more of these kind of live action TV shows.
So what you're saying is it's working, keep doing it.
I think this is the way to go with your DC shows. Your like serial shows, like get them on HBO Max. No more CW. That's enough.
Okay, I was about to say so. Are you okay with connecting it as long as they are on HBO Max?
I think so. I think DC has always had the tone of a darker format.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
One, because it's not under the Disney banner, so
Why
you don't have to hold back as much.
Why tie your hands behind your back?
I think also getting those fringe characters and like I like the nuanced jokes of like Calendar Man and like Condiments guy, like those are Kite Man, right? Like there was the whole joke about Kite Man. I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you still get tied to the bigger names of the DC universe, and maybe you might get a cameo like we did.
Jason Momoa was actually in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
that was him.
Ezra.
Ezra.
Oh, that was
end.
actually Ezra. It wasn't as like prominent. I was like, oh, that's like there's nobody else with that kind of like chin profile and all the things. Like, nah, that's definitely him.
I
But,
mean,
like,
he got
Ezra,
a lot of
I'm
free
like,
time right now.
you could get any skinny white kid off the street and be like, yeah, throw the suit on, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
But no, I they wanted to remind you that it is still a part of the DCEU.
yeah.
Subtle.
Enough so with like Henry Cavill not being present, like which he doesn't have to be,
Or Batman, Batfleck.
or Ray Fisher as Cyborg. Like apparently they were all supposed to be there, but those got cut.
Can't imagine why.
Timing, I think, just like scheduling and all that stuff, and on top of that, it would have been fine if only Aquaman showed up, and they would have still gotten that same joke off, and
Yeah.
It's true.
it was great. So I think that's kind of what I would like to see them do. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we got this one off here. We might get a season 2. Fine. But I feel like there's other weird fringe DC characters that could be a part of stuff like this. Because I feel like Doom Patrol does a pretty good job.
Mm-hmm.
Never watched it. I heard it's good things. But
It's okay to me, but I'm like, I'll never sing its praises
sure.
as much as I sing the praises of anything Marvel, just because
Yeah, I know you love it.
I
just
know
a
where
shame.
I stand. I actually did for a long time, even when it started to be ridiculous, and it got ridiculous pretty quick.
Very fast.
But I don't know. I think DC has a rare opportunity on their hands, and I'm pretty sure like anything DC has ever done, they'll squander it.
Yeah, I think so. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just want to say, could this be so? Like, I know they did away with the DCEU,
Mm-hmm.
but
Well,
like,
it's still
Not
current
really,
going. No,
'cause
they
the
didn't get
Flash
rid
is
of it
still-
because the Flash is still going on. Aquaman has a movie,
sure.
so those
But,
are still
like,
things happening.
Could there still be? I guess could this be like little seeds that they're trying to like slowly? Like they had
Possibly.
to prune a lot, right? And now they're like rebuilding, restructuring, like reseeding.
I would even argue with the ending of PeaceMaker, if they wanted to take Task Force X in a different direction, this would be the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just give us a. I'm fine if you recast Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I will forever be fine with that. But if you wanted to do Suicide Squad in a very serial fashion, this would be the way to do it. Like, don't give us another Suicide Squad movie. We don't need it. But a show? Sure. You want to reduce the budget and not pay, Will Smith and Viola Davis and, you know what I'm saying? But you want to do that?
Get Anthony
Great.
Mackie.
So,
I think he's a tad busy, but
he might be.
Really?
Tad busy as Captain America, like, once you in that kind of contract. But, yeah. We had to do this episode because, like, it was PeaceMaker, it's comic books. Let us know how you feel about Peacemaker.
I do want to know. I'm very interested.
Sterling wants to know. I could take it or leave it, but
Come on.
He didn't even say his question. You might want to know his question.
what was your question?
No, I want to know how they feel about Peacemaker.
Yeah, that's what I knew. I knew what he was. You
I thought
weren't
you had
listening.
another question
He didn't have a
ready
follow-up
for
question.
it.
I knew what it was, but I don't give out XP for BNR.
No.
But I will say I appreciate you guys continuing to listen.
But we do appreciate
We appreciate it.
I do.
If you want to get that XP and level up, gotta go watch the Blurred Bar episodes, podcast episodes.
Season 4.
Season 4 started. We out here.
Sir.
And like we always say, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tell somebody about us. Maybe one day we blow up and we take y'all with us. And as we always like to say here, have a blessed night.